Were we holding what page? Yeah, 644, Tess. Now this is a good question. Page 644 in the Chovos HaLevavos. Is every sin atonable? That's the question. That you can do tshuva, regardless of what the chet is. Omar, b'tshuvas hashel azos, ki avon shnei minim, the two types of sins. Echad mehem avon shmein od lamokum l'vod. This is the most serious. Chofetz Chaim speaks about speaking Lashon Hara. You know, when you speak Lashon Hara, you're in violation of two things. Bein od lamokum, bein om l'chavero. Bein om lamokum, you do tshuva, you have remorse, so on and so forth, you're forgiven. Bein od l'chavero, you have to ask forgiveness. Person speaks, his mouth is uncontrolled. Irresponsibly he speaks. Firstly, he doesn't even recall who he spoke about. And sometimes even if he does, he's too embarrassed to ask forgiveness. And you speak about, let's say a person speaks about even a whole community. That community, they're whatever it is, they're not hospitable. Person that makes such a comment speaks in a pejorative way about them. Chofetz Chaim says, it's a doraisa. That's Lashon Hara. He spoke about every Jew in that community spoke Lashon Hara. Go do tshuva on that. Person speaks about a family where he casts some kind of aspersion on the family regarding their pedigree. They're a bunch of thieves, the family. So not only is he speaking negative about the person now, what about the previous generations? They've always been thieves, you know. In Europe, they were known to be horse traders. You know, that's what he says. It's Lashon Hara, not only on the living, it's even on the dead. Now, what do? It's not so simple. So it goes to show how careful you have to be what you say, because sometimes you're in a position it's not atonable because it's been am l'chavero, and unless the person forgives you, you're not forgiven. As much shuv as you may do. Echad mehem avon shbein od lamokum l'vod kikchache shmei Elokim hamachshavos haros. He says, person denies God, person has lewd thoughts, hamatzpun maroim. He says, misguided beliefs, corrupted inner thoughts. Chovos HaLevavos. Negative commandments which has to do with what one is supposed to believe. Harbi mechovos evorim, asher lo yachmos achoti bem kim nafshe b'levod. Where one only burdens the neshama, when a person doesn't eat shema, doesn't eat matzah, doesn't eat nesukah, doesn't put on tefillin. So you've only burdened your souls between you and Hashem. And the only claim against him is that what he defied, the dictate of Hashem. That's where he failed. The second classification, where you fail between man and man, where you did ill or on other people, whether it's physical, financial, or by mentioning them. In addition, every bein adam l'mok bechavero has bein adam l'mokom. It's coupled, right? Bein adam l'mokom, it's just between you and Hashem. When you sin against your fellow, not only you sin against your fellow, you also sin against Hashem. He says you're not permitted to steal. So you're doing two things wrong. You're hurting the person you're hurting. In addition, you've transgressed because Hashem said you're not permitted to do it. If it's the classification which is only between man and Hashem, there we expect tshuva when you're alive. When a person comes to the realization of he's fallen short of his obligations, responsibilities, and he takes the initiative to return, to undo the sin regarding his maker, his creator. Yeah, what does this mean? The tshuva should be mina ovan b'amin shechotabo im yuchal shim yiachet b'chovos HaLevavos kalevara. He said something interesting. V'amachshava ro. He says, evil heart, misguided beliefs, hanatira v'akino v'asino. A person harbored ill feeling, a person took revenge, a person had hate in his heart for another Jew. Adom lezeh. Hatshuva mimenu ruya lios b'atova selei machshava. It's interesting. It's not enough to be neutral. You hated a person which you weren't permitted to hate. I remember many years ago, there was a certain person in yeshiva, came from Chicago. It must have been about that. 6'5", 6". Eccentric genius. And when you run a yeshiva and you have certain rules, this kind of person doesn't usually abide by the rules. And the mashgiach, and at one time we had what we call a real mashgiach. He was from the Mir in Europe, and he was very, very, very strict in terms of maintaining the protocols of the yeshiva. And this person didn't, broke the rules continuously. And really reached a point that the mashgiach went over to him and said, he says, I want to tell you something. I cannot tolerate you. He says, there's an isser, you're not permitted to hate your brother in your heart. So Rambam says, because why in your heart? Because the other person, your fellow, may think you really you feel positive about him, and he's unaware of what's in your heart. So I have to tell you openly, I cannot tolerate you, because I don't want to be in violation of that's what he told him. You understand? So let's say if it's justified, whatever it is. But again, because you're misleading the other person, because the person may feel positive to you, want to treat you certain only because he believes that you feel positive about him. But if you would know that you feel negative, you wouldn't do it. So it's like degree, like a little misleading, like a nevas das. That's why you should reveal to him what your true feelings are. And then you're not in violation of sisters ochicha, ilvavecha.
He's staying on and he's changing.
Whatever it is. Never change. It's just the nature of the beast.
However, the person is born Jewish, but they're not Chovos HaLevavos. They intermarry. You have Russia Gomer, that's...
It's a Russia Gomer. Absolute Russia Gomer. Classic Russia.
So you have...
It's the Yishanik, the Reb Chaim, Nebach HaNebikoris. So unfortunately, he's not Bikoris. Person doesn't believe in God. Kids, a ghetto child, and he wants to go to Harvard and to whatever it is. He says, you're illiterate, how are you? But it's not my fault. It's irrelevant. You can't get through the front door. You want to be the janitor, you can move a broom and skirt.
In terms of Harvard, you're correct in terms of Russian law. Is that still...
It doesn't apply to the person.
Does not apply to that person, even though he's Jewish?
It depends. This is very subtle. You have to learn the laws well in Chovot Chaim. To speak about a person, if you want to speak a person negatively, where it has no value whatsoever. But the reason why you're saying is because the person is such a bad representation of what a Jew is, you don't want people to have any identification with him. Because he's the worst example of what a Jew should be. Married out, his level of ethical and moral behavior is disastrous. You permit it, it's a mitzvah to speak about that person. Because you want people to understand that's not what a Jew is. There's a mitzvah to speak about that kind of person. Person's not bikoris. The Chofetz Chaim says very often you have to do a certain degree of research before you but if it's apikursis, which is heresy, this kind of thing, you have a green light. That person, you could say whatever you want because the person is such a bad representation. You want people to see that person in the most negative light, not to identify or value any of his positions. That's the reason why. We will continue. And that's praise. That's praise. They were the echad 100%. But most people can't do it.